Hello everyone and welcome back to another session of Elden Ring PvP and another weapon showcase. Today we're taking a look at the Knight's Greatsword. This is a weapon that is dropped by most Knight type enemies in the game, and it's one that I am actually quite a fan of, for one reason and one reason only: the moveset. Now, getting started with the basics, this weapon requires 16 strength and 12 dexterity to wield, and it weighs 10 units. It has a stamp as the skill as the Ash of War on the weapon by default, and it is the upward cut version of that Ash. At plus 25 on the Keen upgrade path as well as the Heavy upgrade path, they both will have a physical base damage of 319. The Keen path has an E scaling in strength and a B in dexterity. And that's pretty much it for the basics on this weapon. You can pretty much throw whatever Ash of War onto it that you want. You'll see me mix it up between a few of them throughout this video, Giant Hunt being one, Double Slash being another, and Sword Dance being a third. All of them are very good on this weapon. They're all quite viable, and they're a lot of fun to use, but there's a lot of Ashes out there, so if you guys use this weapon, what Ash do you like to use on it? Let me know. The pros of the weapon: it is a very long greatsword. With that said, that long reach is coupled with a pretty great moveset. The damage on it is pretty decent, and that's really it for this weapon as far as the pros are concerned. It's pretty straightforward. There's really not a whole lot to say. It's just a very satisfying weapon to use because it has such a nice two-handed R1 combo. That part of the moveset actually is the same as the Mira Greatsword from Dark Souls 2, which was then moved to the Hollow Slayer Greatsword from Dark Souls 3. And that moveset actually was created with motion capture, which is an interesting little fact. A lot of people don't realize that moveset is quite unique because of that. It was actually done properly by someone who was trained and is a somewhat realistic moveset to use with a sword of this type. So that's pretty neat. Now, aside from all of that, there's really not a whole lot to say as far as pros of the weapon. It's, like I said, very straightforward. The moveset is really what makes this weapon great, and it's a very satisfying moveset to use. There are a couple of cons for the weapon, though. First off, despite the long reach of it, despite how big of a sword this is, I feel as though the Claymore actually does have a more viable moveset for PvP because it has the R2 thrusts. Now, with those R2 thrusts on the Claymore, you can actually combo them quite well with something like Storm Stomp. And I feel like even though this does have a large amount of reach, the amount of time it takes for your sword to swing before you do hit your opponent, it is, at least it feels, a bit slower in comparison to the Claymore's thrust. So, it is what it is. That's just my 2 cents on the matter. I do wish this weapon did have thrusting attacks. I know that it does when you're doing a power stance, backstep L1, but I wish it had more than that. I wish that the moveset for the weapon specifically had a thrust with its R2 attacks or with a roll attack or something. Anything. But it is what it is. Either way, there's really not a whole lot of bad to say about the weapon, just like how there's not much good to say about the weapon. It's a fun weapon. It's not a terribly unique weapon. It's got a good moveset, but it could be a better moveset. The damage is decent, but it's not super spectacular. The fact of the matter is that this weapon's moveset isn't even completely unique either, because it's shared with the Banished Knight Greatsword, which I suppose is sticking with a theme, and this is longer than that, so there's definitely a benefit to this one over the Banished Knight, but regardless, it is what it is. Anyway, there is one fight left after this one. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful in one way or another. If you have, then please do all of the YouTube things for me. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, do all of that good stuff, and I'll see you all next time.